Hey there, I'm here with my friend Adrian Tam, who's part of Glow Church in Sydney. And I'm talking to Adrian because he's run Alpha and Alpha Online at least a couple of times now at his church in Glow Church. So Adrian, welcome and thanks for being with us. I want to ask you, what's been great about running Alpha at your church?
Yeah, Alpha's great for a bunch of reasons. I think probably the most obvious one is that it's a great way for non-believers, seekers, skeptics to be introduced to the claims of Christianity for the first time. But it's equally as impactful for those who are already Christians. Obviously, for them to be activated, so now there's a very concrete opportunity to bring my friends. But also, I think for existing believers to actually go back to the foundations and actually have a renewed confidence in what they believe. I think there's a lot of Christians who can pretty easily just kind of coast in their Christian life without really thinking through, why do I believe what I believe?
For those who've never experienced Alpha and especially Alpha Online, can you give us an idea of what happens on a normal online session of Alpha?
How we've run it online is that kind of the first 5 minutes or so is a kind of a bit of a foyer kind of space of just a bit of light banter, get people relaxed and comfortable. And then what we do is we'd send a link through in the chat and say, hey, click this link to watch the video for the night. The way that the material is pitched, it's intelligently presented, but it also doesn't assume any prior knowledge. Uses a lot of ordinary language, which is great, not a lot of Christianese. And then once the video finishes, depending on the size of the group, if it's a very large group, you might go into breakout rooms to discuss the content. And then really where the magic happens, so to speak, is in those discussion groups where you can really unpack the stuff that you heard in the video. So I guess the gold standard in terms of what you really want to aim for in Alpha is two non-Christians talking to each other about Christianity. That's kind of the goal, actually, for people to feel like this is a safe space, maybe the only safe space that they've ever felt, to be able to talk about things of faith and religion and spirituality. That's actually the goal.
So who should come to Alpha?
Anyone at any stage of their faith journey can really benefit from Alpha. Just to give you one example, so we recently finished up a round of Alpha at our church, which we ran online. We're interviewing 3 people. So one of them is a mature Christian who got lots out of the course. One of them is a pretty brand new Christian who got saved while watching church online last year during COVID, didn't know any other Christians, and then found our church. She did the course as a new Christian, got lots out of it. The third person is someone who actually made a decision to follow Jesus on the course. So three people in very different stages of their faith journey, but all got something very valuable out of it. So anyone should do it and can benefit a lot.
Now, what would you say to those who are spiritually searching or maybe curious or even skeptical about spiritual things, about why they should try Alpha?
Yeah, I think what I would say to you is there's really nothing to lose. You're literally doing this online, which means if you absolutely hate it, you could just disconnect the call. But what if you didn't hate it? And what if it actually began to address some things that you've been thinking about for a long time? I think doing something like Alpha, you've got everything to gain and literally nothing to lose. The content is great, it's presented really well, but also it's also about the relationships. So some of the people that you might meet while doing the course, who may be in a similar place to you, have similar questions, similar doubts. I think that sense of, hey, there's someone else out there who's actually asking the same things that I am, is very comforting. And I think you get a lot of solidarity that comes out of that. So take a risk. It is a risk doing it, but I'm pretty confident that it will pay off. And I think you could really stand to gain a lot out of this course.
Now, why should someone who is a Christian be using Alpha to invite friends to come along to Alpha?
Alpha is a golden opportunity. There's actually, the fruit speaks for itself. There's millions of people around the world in so many different languages that have done this course, and there's very few tools actually quite like it. And so if you are a Christian and you want your friends to consider the claims of Christianity, this is a golden opportunity to do so. It actually takes a lot of the pressure off you as well. Your job is to invite and to bring people along, but really a lot of the heavy lifting, so to speak, is done by the course. And so it's a pretty it's very accessible for you in that sense. So bring your non-Christian friends along, they will hear the gospel. That's something that you can be very confident about.
And finally, what would you say to Christians, followers of Jesus, about why they should try Alpha themselves?
Yeah, I think there's so much, especially in our current time, there's so much that causes us to doubt and question our belief, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. But something like Alpha, it kind of helps us to navigate that process of questioning. As we explore our doubts, here's a great, structured, systematic, thorough way to explore your questions and doubts. And I think you'll come out the other end of this course, hopefully, with a renewed sense of confidence in the things that you already believe. And maybe with a slightly different perspective. I always knew about forgiveness, but I hadn't thought about it in that way before. So I think it's a great opportunity to grow deeper in your faith and grow deeper in your love for Jesus.